Hello everyone, it's so good to see you all. I hope you've been doing well. I'm here to do the intro today in real life as opposed to my Roblox character, as we'll be playing something new today, a game from my childhood that I hold very dear to my heart. It was one of the first RPGs that I really fell in love with alongside Fable 1 and have played so many countless times that I could be a walking mini Wikipedia on it. And with Bethesda just releasing a remaster and me not having given Oblivion a good playthrough in a good number of years, I figured it would be the perfect time to finally dive back into Cyrodiil and re-experience the game I fell in love with so many years ago. So without further ado, I present to you guys Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years, I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor. But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams. I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking eye may see. Behold, in darkness, a doom sweeps the land. This is the 27th of last seed, the year of Akatosh 433. These are the closing days of the Third Era and the final hours of my life.
Okay, so here we are in character creation. I've always really enjoyed Oblivion's character creation for some reason. If you've never seen Oblivion character creation, it can get pretty crazy and silly, as the sliders allow for some out-of-this-world proportions on the characters. Anyways, I decided to pick a Breton from High Rock, as I wanted to play a mage. I usually went stealth in my younger years, so changing it up felt nice. I went into customization like I usually do, just moving different sliders around and keeping what I liked, and eventually I came up with this beautiful pink specimen here. He's like a tiny, small little pink orc. It's amazing. After spending about 20 seconds googling Breton names, I settled with the name Edgard and was ready to embark on my grand adventure. So as in tradition in Elder Scrolls games, I start as a prisoner. This dark elf in the cell across from me randomly starts shit-talking me for being a Breton, calling my magic fake like parlor tricks and such.
Nothing but a bunch of stuck-up snobs with cheap parlor tricks.
I punch this wall in anger. The Emperor comes in my cell then and recognizes the back of my head before telling me that he's been reading the stars and is gonna die or something, I don't know. I followed him and his guards to the secret exit that leads through my cell conveniently, stopping to admire the new graphics before some assassins show up and actually attack us. I made sure to grab Captain Renault's katana, as it's one of those little bonus things you can do that impact the world later on in the game. Deciding to also use it to defend myself, I equip it and my flame spell, and this rat breaks through the wall Kool-Aid Man style, and just like that, I'm in my very first fight. And it goes horribly. Like, I died to the very first battle in the game. To be fair, it was a 2v1 because this, like, second rat showed up, but still, absolutely a horrible fight. I load a save not even 10 minutes into playing the game, give my flame spell a good test go, punch the Emperor square in the face a couple of times as some anger relief.
This can only lead to your death. My guardians are sworn to protect me. Your destiny.
And give the rats a second go. I keep my distance this time and fire off some spells while relying on melee when in close quarters, and eventually come out on top. I noticed that my health was regenerating when not in combat, and while not diving too deep in my personal opinions on this change, I will mention that it is a drastic change over the original game. Health doesn't regenerate in normal Oblivion, and I'm not gonna lie, this change was very jarring to me at first and very off-putting in a way I almost wanted to put the game down altogether. Like, I don't know, it's just such a weird and drastic difference. I decided to carry on though and put my trust in the developers. There's some really cool graphics going on here that I'd like to point out. One is these bugs like scurrying around all over the dungeon floors. Another is my really wrinkly skin here. I thought those were two really cool things. I ended up making some rat friends along the way when I saved them from this zombie here and realized I've been playing too much Roblox when I did a celebratory jump after crushing the goblins with the logs. The goblin area went pretty well, as I just grabbed the attention of one goblin at a time and kept it a 1v1 at all times. With the new health regen feature, this seemed to definitely be a smart plan of attack. I looted the goblin shaman staff off the goblin witch and really like the graphical improvements of this weapon. To my knowledge, it's a unique weapon you can't find many more of in the game, and I always make sure to keep it in all of my Oblivion playthroughs to display in my house later on in the game. I love how the dead goblin's jaw opens and closes when wielding the staff. It's such a nice touch and I just love it. When picking a sign, I once again did something I'm definitely not used to and picked the sign of the Atronach, which gives me a bonus 150 points of magicka and a 50% chance to absorb any spell cast at me, with the costly downside of losing all natural magicka regen completely. I'm not sure how this interacts with the Breton's natural 50% resistance to magicka, but I just kind of hoped it synergized well. Anyways, yeah, the Emperor does get assassinated like he read in the stars or whatever. He gives me this amulet to take to someone named Joffrey, and then Baris, one of the guards, has me make my class. I choose intelligence and speed as my favorite attributes, as movement is going to be my best defense later on, like when I'm wearing magic robes and I have no armor. For major skills, I picked some basic combat skills to have a nice head start in, athletics and acrobatics to help with my dodging, and armor just because I remember it being a pain to level up and the armor degrading system just being completely annoying in general, so it's a really nice skill to have. I named the class Pink Goblin appropriately, realized I got all the way to the Emperor's death and still didn't have any pants on. I searched around for a bit for Glenroy's katana but couldn't find it. Then made my way to the sewer's exit and got my first glimpse of the reworked Cyrodiil. And wow, let me tell you, it was something. From being able to see Frostcrag's spire with the amazing new render distance, to the beautiful lighting from the sun, this scene I had played through so many times in my youth had never looked more beautiful, and I had next level chills going on during this moment. It was truly something special, and I think this is when I really got excited for this playthrough of Oblivion. I followed along this path that led me right to the Market District, another new addition from the original game, and just admired all the scenery. I mean, it looked really good. Anyways, while in the Market District, I figured I'd sell all the loot I had on me at the various shops around. When entering the Three Brothers Trade Goods, these two dudes just kind of like stared at me blankly, offering no greeting whatsoever. While this encounter was indeed unnerving, I went up and talked to the guy anyways, and he told me about another merchant in town that's been very unpopular due to undercutting everyone with his ridiculously low prices. He told me to talk to Jensine next door if I wanted to help out and earn some coin. I do just that, stopping to admire the beautiful lighting in her store before offering to help out. She basically tells me that like all the merchants in town created a society to keep the economy balanced, and this guy is basically stealing all of the business because of his low prices, and he's like messing up their economy. I'm not really sure why they assume he's like up to no good, but Jensine wants me to look into the shopkeeper in question, Thornor, and report back to her any suspicious activity I find him partake in. Farther exploration of the Market District leads me to the Office of Imperial Commerce, and I find out I can purchase a property in the Waterfront District for 2,000 gold. It was at this point I really had my first goal, which was to buy this property. Seeing as this was my first day as a free man, or pink goblin orc thing, having a place to call my own and also have some personal storage definitely felt like a worthy goal to work towards. And so I did just that, heading over to the copious coin purse to speak with Thornor, the shopkeeper that is undercutting everyone. Questioning him about his inventory gets me nowhere and leaves me with only one option, to follow him after he closes up shop and see if he gets into anything nefarious. However, it was still just a little before noon, and with plenty of time to kill, I figured I'd head over to the arena and test my combat prowess for some coin. I got distracted by these mushrooms though, and due to just how many were growing in this area, decided to start picking them for future potions or training. Some random guy just started staring at me about halfway through, which, I mean, come on, I didn't think picking mushrooms was that weird. I also heard my first real Oblivion NPC conversation, so that was nice.
Oh, hello.
The news from Anvil is terrible. Have you heard about the attack on the chapel there?
No, I haven't. What's happened?
All the priests slaughtered? The whole chapel desecrated?
By the gods!
Without question.
Bye.
I noticed it seemed to get super cloudy, and when going to check the time, it was only 2 p.m. Yes, I had been picking mushroom for 2 in-game hours at this point. The sun re-emerges again after some time, and I am once again distracted from my mushroom picking adventure by this little area of light here. This kind of stuff I absolutely love, because as I go to stand in the light and stare at the sun, I can see that at this specific angle, the sun happens to not be trapped behind White Gold Tower, therefore creating light only at this specific point. I also slowly watched as the area became dark as the sun slowly moved behind the tower. This stuff is just really cool to experience and look at in the game, and is a major drawing point for anyone who's already played Oblivion, but really wants to re-experience the game in a new way. Anyways, I'm still picking mushrooms, however, at this point I realized that I can just sell each mushroom for 1 coin each, and that this is actually a pretty good money-making method. After finishing up with my mushroom picking, I met some crazy lady named Thamriel of Tamriel.
Thamriel of Tamriel. What are all those strange creatures in the garden? Where are all the white birds?
And then continued on to the arena, to which I signed up to be a combatant and received my arena raiment. And yeah, once again just got absolutely wrecked in this battle. This fight made me realize just how bad having absolutely no mana regen on a mage-based character was going to be, and also really made me think twice before blindly throwing myself into a fight without first preparing beforehand. I even gave this fight a second try, but was simply just too weak without any spells to take down the yellow team's pit dog. Instead, I reload a save and just take my raiment and leave. It's about 5 p.m. now, and the sun is going down, so I go to sell my mushroom loot for a nice 129 coin total, and then just kind of bum around the market district to kill some time until Thornor closes shop. I saw this mage walking out of the bookshop at 8 p.m, and I go to talk to him, and he literally says he sleeps late and reads trashy books, so that was refreshing to hear.
How can Ontus Vannon, retired, sleep late and read trashy books?
I'm just kind of killing time, picking more mushrooms when this beggar comes up to me asking if I have a coin, and it's got me thinking, like, why is she not just picking these mushrooms herself? I mean, they're literally right next to her little encampment here, and the alchemy shop isn't but 5 minutes away. I mean, it made me feel like I was actually, like, robbing her, just due to the fact she didn't realize she's literally just sleeping on coin. Anyways, the lightning bugs are out now, and I've apparently missed Thornor close shop, but luckily find him nearby in the Merchant's Inn. Entering the inn causes the NPCs to just completely lose their coding for a moment, so I just kind of like wait patiently while they remember what they were supposed to be doing, and that is to all just sit in silence and eat food in the most fucking terrifying scene possible. It's so uncanny and awkward, I just love it. Also, they knocked over like half the innkeeper's crap here. The dude I'm looking for, who's supposed to be a guest, is just like sitting in his chair. Anyways, I wait around for a bit and the place does eventually get more lively. Just before midnight, Thornor leaves the inn and I follow him to a secluded place and listen in to a meeting he has, using Drax's secret stealth technique to stay hidden.
I've mastered the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye.
I proceed to follow this new individual to his home in the Imperial City, giving me a new lead to investigate tomorrow when he leaves his house. Until then, there was really nothing else to do but get some sleep for the night and level up. I stopped at the Tiber Septim Hotel, but after learning of their ridiculous prices of 40 gold a night, just decided to sleep at the Arena Bloodworks for the night. Trying to find an open bedroll was a bit of a challenge as everyone was sleeping already. But I found one eventually and slept for the night, leveling up to level 2 in the process. I put points into speed and agility mainly, as I'm going to want speed early on. I grabbed all these arena weapons just laying around and headed out into the Imperial City for my second day as a free man in Cyrodiil. I came across this group of people chatting, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's still lacking obvious points of realism, but seeing a crowd of people in Oblivion like this was pretty cool. It didn't sound terrible.
Chiefs.
I've heard it's the best light armor in the city.
The Empire isn't going to stop
If you need to get rid of something
Who
quickly,
will?
check out the copious coin
Goodbye.
purse.
Thorinir is quite a character. He's dirty and underhanded.
I went down this sewer crate and found this alcoholic bandit just kind of like chilling here. And yeah, he was definitely an alcoholic. I mean, this guy had bottles just laying around everywhere. At this point, I was still just trying to find everything and anything I could to sell for some coin. So started going through all these random boxes just laying around and noticed that there's just free food like laying around for everyone to take. It really makes me wonder, how is there a beggar problem in the Imperial City when there's just like an abundance of food laying around like this? Whatever, I take it all and make it into potions to sell, leveling up my alchemy quite a bit. I kept checking back at that dude's house from earlier to see if he was finally gone, and when it seemed the coast was clear, I broke in and searched for any evidence of foul play. In the basement, I discovered tons of boat meal, a dirty shovel, and a record of the recently deceased and the possessions they were buried with, implying that Thorinor had been buying his stock from a grave robber and that everything he has been selling has been come from the bodies of the deceased. I returned to Thorinor to inform him of this, and he apparently had no idea, and after learning, agreed to help me to stop and reform his ways. Like, he's a good guy now. He tells me the location to find the grave robber, which of course is a gravesite, go figure, and I head over there to confront him. This fight was just all over the place. I have been playing on expert up until this point, which is the difficulty above normal, but below the hardest, and really hadn't had a problem with it being unfair up until this point. Like both the rat fight and the arena fight, I lost due to my own mistakes, but this fight I just kept taking massive amount of damage out of nowhere. Like the bodyguard kept just one-shotting me, it seemed. Lowering the difficulty to adept made the fight a lot more fair and enjoyable. I do think I'll still continue to try to play on expert difficulty, but may have to continue to adept if I keep running into problems like this. Anyways, yeah, the fight goes a lot better this time. I feel like I was outputting a bit too much damage this time, but I get the job done, loot the bodyguard for a full set of iron armor I can sell, and head back to Thorinor to let him know the mission's successful. He's all like, yeah, I donated the money I made, and I joined the Merchant Society, blah blah, happy ending, and hands me a fancy enchanted ring that farther adds to my magic resistance abilities by providing an additional 10% resistance to frost and fire. Not bad. I still had to talk to Jensine though to finish the quest, but had spent all day doing the quest and her shop was closed, so I returned to the arena to sleep for the night and level up to level 3. The following morning on my way to the market district, I came across these two beggars fistfighting outside the arena. I watched them for a bit hoping it would get me a hand-to-hand level or two, and talking to them revealed that they were actually training, not fighting. Interestingly enough, there was this very hard lock chest that was apparently owned by these two. Figuring out how to pickpocket them honestly wasn't too hard. I literally just stood behind her like this and the other guy couldn't see me. You know, that's like Oblivion logic. But yeah, I failed to pickpocket and I had to pay a 25 coin fine. On my way back, I stopped to admire some of these old destroyed forts off in the distance, and man, am I excited once it finally comes time to set out in the world. But for now, I still needed a place to stay, so returned to Jensine and received my 100 coin reward for helping her, putting me just over 1,000 gold of the 2,000 I would need to purchase the house on the waterfront. I returned to try to pickpocket the key from those beggars that were trading outside the arena from earlier, and was successful this time, and after unlocking their chest, I found these bands which increased my hand-to-hand skill by a whole 20 points, along with a bunch of combat books and another 100 gold. Wow, I don't know what it was about this experience. Maybe I've just been used to more recent Bethesda games where chests never have anything unique in them, but this was a very welcome surprise to be sure, and something I don't remember ever finding in all of my past Oblivion playthroughs. Anyways, at this point I spent some time trying to figure out what I was going to do about my mana problem, as even sleeping was not helping it, meaning I would have to rely on potions or more creative means. I still had a couple of ideas and visited a couple of shops. This guy almost had the same name as me here in the spells. But all of them would cost too much coin currently, so instead I decided to pivot into hand-to-hand as my go-to combat style for now. Also, I found this woman just staring at a wall. I'm not sure how long she's been here, but yeah, I just kind of let her do her thing. I eventually found my way back into the sewers, as most of the shopkeepers have a manhole in their basements for some reason. I don't know what's going on. And here's where the difficulty just starts being completely random again. I'm here fighting these bandits with iron battle axes and such, but when I come across this completely random dog, it just completely obliterates me like it's some sort of god in disguise or something. Like, I mean, why is the dog that powerful, number one? But number two, why is it even more powerful than the bandits with sharp metal weapons? It's just so random. Anyways, I kill all the bandits over again and just avoid that dog. I've never really explored the sewers outside of the quests that require me to go down here, so it was pretty cool exploring them. I found my way to the bottom of the Bloodworks, and there was these creepy burning bodies just like hanging up on the walls. There was a few vampires down here, but nothing else too interesting. After looting almost everything and just slow walking to the shops, I sell it all, along with everything else in my inventory like potions and such that I've been making, and it puts me just over 2,000 gold. I go and purchase the house and I'm told that I'll have to buy additional furniture for it. I kind of remembered that this was a feature, but yeah, for now we'll just have to go with no furniture, I guess. I made my way over to my new abode and was pleasantly surprised to find that I do at least own a bed, a table, and a nice fireplace, along with shelter from the elements in general. So all in all, it wasn't too bad. And I felt like this was a really good time to quit playing for now. Okay guys, well thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. If you've never played this game before, I highly recommend it. It's a great open world RPG. I did want to mention that while I know I've had a problem of randomly stopping series out of nowhere, I am still currently really enjoying Oblivion and don't see myself stopping anytime soon. So if you guys would like to see more of this series, like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for watching. So much love to everyone. It was good to see you guys again. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Yukai out.